All right, 7:30, we'll come to order. Always been this room. Did you get lost in the building?
Yeah, it's a big parking lot.
You're right, they were taking laps.
We are recording. Just warning you.
I know. Okay.
Not that that ever stops Rob.
Thank you for showing up.
You're quite welcome. Sorry we're late.
It's okay, by 30 seconds. There being no need for alternate appointments tonight, Joe will have to sit and keep track of things.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Under new business, I already added an item for Conservation Commissioner application, and there is one in your packet.
So a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
So moved.
I second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the approval of Conservation Commission minutes of 10/9/18.
There were 3 corrections already. 6A, which is the end of page 1, I clarified the end of the paragraph where there was discussion around the neighbor, the Patrell property neighbor calling Rob, and changed the last part of the sentence to read. So I changed it from, if I could find Rob,
I don't know, I think you got them.
now they're right under
Oh.
here. I don't know. hang
Did
on.
you distribute them to other
Anyways, I
people?
changed the last section to read, as no notification was provided, instead of saying wanting to be notified. So I changed that, that's in 6A. Top of page 2, 6A as well. In the second sentence, I corrected the spelling of the 8 Mile, and I clarified the bridge condition in the end of the first sentence. And then I also took care of some subject-verb agreement in the second sentence after that. And then 6C, which is at the bottom, I added the word news in front of paper. Charlotte, you had other changes.
Just a minor one, on page 2, halfway down the top paragraph, relate to the Patrell Stewardship event. Mr. Gelston noted it should be related.
They did, okay,
Yeah.
good catch. So I will update that, so that is. Are there other changes to the minutes?
No, I didn't have anything.
Okay.
Take 'em- while we're looking, move. Second,
Second?
Further
discussion.
Yes, I have further discussion. Page 3, about 3 items up, the minutes.
Yeah. On page 3?
$250 hot dog girl.
Oh, that was the vendor for,
That's their name?
Yeah, that's what she goes by, the business.
vendor.
The business is hot dog girl,
I couldn't say that.
but she can.
Well,
Yes, she
okay, if
does.
she's fine with that, I'm fine with it too.
That is the name of the company. Is there any other changes, additions, corrections? Marilyn?
Let the record show Mr. Sienna, Mr. Sienna did actually make a minute correction. First time in his tenure.
So noted in the minutes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Peggy would be proud.
All right, hearing on no additions or additional corrections, changes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Abstaining.
You're abstaining?
Yep, I wasn't there.
Next is item 5, the approval of the Forestry and Stewardship Subcommittee minutes, 10/25/18.
So there were 2 changes. So 3B, I updated the last sentence of the second to the last paragraph. Oh, jeez. So this is the top of the second page. The second paragraph on that page that starts, Mr. Smith noted that he investigated the stone wall. At the end of that sentence, I added some clarification related to the cellar, to the shelter, I'm sorry. And so instead of saying the old shelter that needs to be addressed, I changed it, Rob had me change it to cellar or stockpile them for other uses. And then the last paragraph there, Mr. Gelston noted that the Route 82 parking lot has a reported washout, so a reported was added to the minutes. And then in 3C, related to the getting a contractor for addressing the trees, I added in the phrase, if EHCC volunteers cannot safely remove them.
Can we also add that we have a warning or two from the homeowner of that property that the tree was going to fall into the yard?
Do you want that in the minutes?
It was mentioned, so.
It was mentioned in the minutes.
You can say that we had been previously notified.
All right, let me do this 1 second.
Motion, please?
I also had
Oh, okay.
one more thing. I was thinking on number 3 on B that we should add that those plates are attached to the foundation of the bridge that we're welding.
So let me ask
I don't
you,
think that's necessary, Joe.
No, okay.
I have one question. So you're talking about the suggestion that you want to the minutes is on section 3C under other stewardship topics?
Yes.
But at the end of the first sentence, I'll say, on the south end of Pizzini where the horse ring is, there's a dead ash tree that needs to be removed and has been reported by the homeowner.
And had been previously reported by
Has
the owner.
been
That's-
previously.
That's very important.
Oh, good. Hey, Tom.
Hi.
We are recording.
Yeah, that's right. It is a long way.
And did we need, was there another correction that you?
I know.
No?
The best
Okay.
of my knowledge.
Okay.
Motion to accept as amended?
I move we accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
Who
Further
Who
discussion?
seconded that? Who, was that you, Paul?
Tom.
Tom?
Tom. Any further discussion, changes, or corrections?
Yes, David said already, I fell asleep, but number 1,
Well, you prefaced the issue, you were asleep.
no. I guess I've got my minute. Forget it, I'm all set.
Okay.
Bro, I have a comment. It just has to do, didn't I see in that?
You can add it after we vote on it.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say, didn't I read in those minutes that that wall has to be taken down?
Yeah, that was
The
a
foundation
recommendation.
has to be taken down,
Yeah.
really? Is there any chance we could revisit that? It's just a nice historical piece.
Yeah, well, I looked at it, and what I found was that it's a single face, and it's just topsoil behind it. So what's gonna end up happening is gonna just keep pushing, and anything that grows there, there's just dirt, so the frost and water is gonna keep pushing it out. So it will eventually fall.
How long has it been pushed out as it is?
Well, it's starting to really go in the corners, that's the problem.
It is going?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be reconstructed, we have a mason here, which is why I asked him to come, but, but I don't know if this, we wanna put that much effort into this particular part of the project, so. You have anything you wanna add, Peter?
I was just curious what it was you were talking about.
Okay, so this is there was a old barn slash some sort of animal building slash whatever down on what is called the Petrel property, which is part of Chapel Farm, which is down in off of Baker Lane in the southeast corner of the town. And it's right at the entrance to the Petrel portion. And we do have a picture of it. And it was a single-phase stone structure that was there to support, we believe, a barn. And then at some point, they added a 6-inch concrete wall that supported another addition to the barn. And at this point, we just think it's easier. I mean, we could revisit it, but at this point, I don't think it's that essential.
Usually one-sided ones
Here's the
sometimes
wall.
go behind the bar, like you say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Isn't that the wall right there?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
right there.
yeah. So I mean, it looks pretty good right there, but,
Yeah,
It's not pointed, so the stone's
right,
just
right,
like-
it's all just dry laid.
yeah, which is okay, and that's probably the only reason it's still standing is because it's dry.
Water can come
Yeah.
through and everything.
But it's dry laid up, but there's no wedges to hold the stone tight.
Okay, I was just curious.
Good call, Pete.
All right,
Oh,
thank
Paul.
you. All right,
I'm with you, Gary.
Gary would like, I mean,
Marilyn?
Maureen.
my name.
More, well, you have to understand.
Oh, so
Add
you're a
some more
long night.
sugar.
No more muffins for you.
He needs memory muffins.
The rest of us like.
We have
the
another
trees.
committee, another thing where we're both on, and someone's always calling her
Maureen.
Maureen.
You better be nice, we like the sweets she brings.
Would it, let me just ask.
Yes.
Should we get an estimate of what it would cost to rehabilitate it?
We could, but I think it would be substantial, because you'd have to all be brought down and then come back up again.
Right, I mean, would that,
If it was really important to the entrance, it's somewhat historic, but it's not really important to maintaining anything there, which is I'm using as the qualifier. It is kind of a shame, but
And the thing is, it's not visible as you come in.
no.
You see it,
And it's gonna be a continuous maintenance headache for us.
yeah.
That's-
And the way it is right now, with half of it being just the ugly cement, that part's not attractive. The stone is, but if it's not sturdy enough to stand up, it would be kind of,
It's just
A
a nice
waste of money
attractive
to try to-
feature, I thought.
to try to
Mr.
fix it.
Pearl.
Different on the property.
Is there something else you can utilize the stone for?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, we're gonna try and save it, so. Because, some of it's pretty nice stone, so.
Now that we cleared it, plows are gonna start pushing that way to snow, and it's probably gonna disintegrate that wall this winter, so. Unfortunately.
I'm just afraid of a car driving off it.
I looked at it, I think we're okay for now. I'm gonna put a little survey stake there to stop. Okay,
Flag. Survey
so
state.
we're up to item 6, old business. Subcommittee updates. So we'll start,
Item 6 is intense.
Maybe we should go to item 7.
Subcommittee updates. We do have a humorous time.
I've got a joke for them.
Let me shut mine off, because we don't have any.
Shut the
Horrible, but they should
filming
taste.
off too.
So, subcommittee updates, stewardship. So you know what we're working on, so needless to say, we've had the worst luck on trying to get a work party together. 3 Saturdays in a row it rained or was otherwise inhospitable to working out there, and we did work this last Saturday. And of course, the brook is at the Rose Farm Bridge site, and we got 4 diamond piers in, Gary and myself and Joe were there, and we got the stuff down there pretty easy, but what was normally a nice dry path there is now has some very deep tractor ruts in it, so in any event, we've started the project at least, but we're gonna need at least 4 or preferably 5 people for the next portion when we start putting the posts up and the bridge supports and the longitudinal timbers. So when we post it, which is possible for this next Saturday, is there anyone available next Saturday?
This Saturday.
This coming Saturday?
Supposed to rain.
It's supposed to rain, but they're saying as of right now, it's supposed to end very early in the morning, so that could change again. You're available?
New England's.
I was afraid of that. When is that girl graduating?
Yeah, that chick goes to college.
Yeah.
Is she far enough away you won't be going to?
I won't be going there.
Oh, okay.
In Ohio.
Okay, okay. Joe, are you available?
So,
Okay.
What time do you guys start?
We usually start, we won't need the electric jackhammer, so we could start anytime on Saturday. We could actually start in the morning.
I mean, we can just haul wood with extra people. All
Yeah.
that wood needs to go to the site.
Well,
so.
we can't get it all there, but if we can get a lot of it there and start putting it together, that would be nice.
I'll give you a hand.
So can
Nine?
you give him an answer?
What's that?
Are you gonna give him an answer?
Yeah, the top.
Yes,
Okay.
he could do 9. If 9 works better for people, Tom? You won't be able to go to the vigil. Okay? You available 9 o'clock on Saturday?
What Saturday?
This one, coming up.
Probably not.
Didn't you say rain early anyway?
It's really early. How about in the afternoon?
Probably not. Family members are moving into their new home on
Oh, okay.
Saturday, so I'll
Okay.
have to be home.
I guess that's a good excuse. You won't.
Mine's not.
No, yours
Mine-
is not.
That's not a good excuse.
All right, let's see what we have for time. We may or may not be able to do it, so.
What are we doing anyway?
We're gonna move a lot of those planks and then maybe put the bridge together, so.
So are they all still stored in the spot where
Yes.
we left them?
Yes,
So basically, we'd be carrying them on that walk we took at the end of that.
yes, yeah. If there's really a lot of water, we
Fun
can,
walk.
I mean,
Especially with a bunch of.
with Joe yanking everything, so. All right, so the goal is, again, if everyone remembers, we are gonna try and get at least a portion of the bridge built. And then, go to, where were we going after that? We're gonna try and mark the boundaries of Roaring Brook, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
was
what it
next.
is.
Thank you. And then we're gonna go back to,
Davison, wasn't it?
The roads.
Was
we're
it
gonna go
Rose?
back to Rose.
So it's Rose, Roaring Brook, Rose.
Yeah, it's whatever it is in here.
You know, it was,
Roaring Brook, and then back to Rose. Thank you, Marilyn. So, because this has been on our agenda for 2 years to get this done, so. And I don't want our wetlands permit to expire and have to go through the paperwork to extend it and everything. So we'll just evaluate the weather and see what it's looking like a little bit later and how many people are available.
You should remember to wear hip boots or.
If anyone has hip boots, but, or just figure on wading through the river.
Just say screw
If you're doing that, remove your cell phone and wallets. No. Not that I fell in or anything, it's just a wise decision. So, volunteer activism, we have nothing. Outreach and promotion, do we have anything coming up? Anything cooking? Nothing pertinent or pressing. The article came out in the last quarterly magazine.
Nice article.
I
Nice picture.
get mine about 2 weeks after everybody else.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, we can report that it was in there.
Yep.
Very well done.
Mr. Wilson, we finally saw the rest of them.
Yes.
So, so we will, thank you, sir, for your work and for being the subject of the article and all the work you've been doing for us. Most appreciated.
this was an events, right? The events magazine?
Yes, yes, quarterly events magazine. Anything else in this general section here? Update? IWWC report.
Yes, a couple things going on with the IWWC. Shire Bark has applied for an expansion of their facility. They want to build I believe a 90 by 40 building to the east of the current structures and on the edge of wetlands. And the commission came up with a bunch of questions for Fred and his engineer. His engineer being Roger Nemergut. So, but I think the questions were satisfactorily answered. But there's more information they need and some modifications to the plan, if I recall correctly. So I'll be back to visit the IWC this month.
Can I ask a question? The east is which, if I'm facing in the building, which one is the east?
To the right.
Okay.
Yep.
Going towards where the oxen were.
Where the animals are, yeah. Okay.
Originally it was 40 by 100,
They changed it.
so they wouldn't have to modify, there wasn't room for a 100-foot building in there.
That's correct.
I paced it off, I said, no way.
Yeah, no, it's 90, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So there was additional clarification needed that's gonna be discussed at another meeting? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Next meeting. And there are a few other upland applications, relatively minor, that I can't recall, frankly. Big one was Shinemark.
Okay. And that was because of the potential encroachment on that intermittent,
Yes.
or this year, continually running stream.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Okay. Joe, planning and zoning.
So on October 9th, Sam Peckham, Wiley Peckham, had a lot line revision approved for, it's for their property. They just had some property lines changed, basically. And on the October 23rd meeting, we're supposed to talk about the plan of conservation and development. That was tabled. And as Todd previously stated, Shagbark, or Bob Kasner came in and reviewed what Shagbark's plans are. And they are talking about a potential regulation change to the IGT or IG TAC 2 zone or -2 zone, and proposed new IG-3A zone. It was just talked about.
To accommodate Shagbark?
Yeah, they want, it's a possible industrial park up there now. That's what
It wouldn't necessarily accommodate Shagbark, but it would, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it would provide more industrial commercial property for the town. That's their proposal.
Would that be the one on
10,000.
82?
No, it would be up on Mount Parnassus with an entrance under the power lines where that storage gravel pit / gravel pit area is. And it would wrap around on the other side of the power lines. And also, as about a quarter mile up from Shagbark, that large field that's on the left or north, that would become a commercial piece of property.
Okay.
It's not visible from Mount Parnassus, but from Daniels, it could be.
Okay.
So, and there was, you want to follow up with the, that there was a site walk there too?
Yes, and we also did a site walk.
On the proposed,
IG3 and IG2.
On Sunday, November 4th. We did a field inspection.
so are they going from IG3 to IG2?
No, they're adding another, they want to create an IG3A area.
And
All right, well, you'll have to read.
Yeah, it's not that,
No.
it's just a modification,
Okay.
rezoning.
this is,
The feeling apparently of the EDC is that there's a substantial need for more industrial commercial property. And Joe has a copy of the map that was presented.
it's not that
Kind of
great,
shows
but
the two new areas.
Oh, okay.
I don't have that map handy, though. I have the map I got
Any-
at the site walk, but I don't have the
Any questions on it? Don't it takes a minute and take a quick look at the map.
No, it's okay.
Get my other one.
This, I think, is gonna require a lot of permissions and site work. You know, they're talking about putting a road up under the power lines, which is permissible, but where they want to route it, there's they can't get it in that location, so I'm not sure what their plan is.
Would there be a public hearing?
There would be a public hearing, yes. Anytime there's a zone change, there's a public hearing. It's part of the planning and zoning meetings, though. So that's where there would be a meeting. And then eventually it would have to be, I believe that has to be approved by the town. That has to go to a town meeting, I believe.
What,
Yes.
the zoning change?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else on that?
You know as much as I do.
Can you just move the map? No, just off the.
Off the sound.
So you're all set? Okay,
Yes. I'm
thank you.
Did you wanna talk at all about the plan of conservation and development workshop?
I was gonna say, since we're in that general thing,
Okay, you were gonna save it?
no, I was gonna say.
Oh,
you
go
want-
ahead. Go ahead.
We'll so in the gymnasium, on what date was that, Joe? Was that, remember?
Is that
It was a
November
Wednesday?
29th or something? No,
Was it a
26th.
Whatever, it was last week, I believe.
Yeah, it was last Wednesday.
There was a discussion, or actually a presentation by Malone and McBroom regarding the plan of conservation development. It was kind of an extension of their outreach that was done on previous, through previous efforts, which included the online survey, and they did, what would you want to call them, questionnaires, or what would you call that they did like at the musical bridges, just,
Charrettes.
you know, they kind of reached out to people and asked questions or whatever,
Yeah.
asked input. And what ended up, I thought it was kind of interesting that, and this is my perspective, but other people there, I want them to chime in here, but there was four different places you could,
Yeah.
and they had one where you were given 10 popsicle sticks and you could put them into various cups to this is what they want to change this to.
So where you wanna allocate money?
Yes, where you wanted to allocate money, where you wanted to, improve the road system, more recreation, more open space, more development, more,
Beautification,
Beautifi-
roads,
yes. And I think there was
park
10.
and rec.
Yeah, 10,
Yeah,
10,
10.
10 cups and 10 things, and interestingly, in that particular table or presentation area, the overwhelming support was more open space, to the point where the guy got tired of counting popsicle sticks.
127 if you counted.
Yeah, so huge, a very large number. Parks and Rec got a lot. Law enforcement or police services did not get a lot, interestingly enough. Road improvements, there was a fair number. I think
Education.
education got a fair number. I think that was the second one.
Beautification got.
It got a few, but I mean, it wasn't, so they will have the final results for us. Then there was also another thing on where you wanted to concentrate development. And you could have
Where you want to concentrate open space.
open space was one,
Yeah.
and that was kind of interesting because people could put stickers, and they didn't give you any limited number of stickers. You could put stickers any place on any piece of property, basically, that you wanted to see protected as open space.
Even private property.
Even private property, which I don't know what the people had much say in it, but people said.
It's weird.
But it was kind of interesting that people still want to see a lot of open property protected, and a lot of people were concentrating around pieces that were already protected, which makes sense, which is what the goals have been all along. Additionally, and then there was another area that had to do with where do you want to concentrate industrial commercial development, or where you do not want development. So you had red stickers if you did not want development in a certain area. And I have to say that there is a very large red blob that went from
River
Ba-
Road to Centerville?
yes, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, people
Where they
said
wanna put
no,
in
no,
commercial
no.
zone. So
Where, I'm sorry.
From
where?
River Road north to Sanibel.
Where they want to put it.
they want to put a commercial zone in there.
Yeah,
so.
and people, I mean, it was just like
It's red all the way.
solid. I mean, there was sticker on top of sticker on top of sticker. And then there was, in the Four Corners area, which is Shagbark area, Two Wrestling Cats Town Tavern, thank you. That had, development there. And then the green areas had one or two which you prioritize. Moody's had quite a bit, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, just jump in, Marilyn and Joe or anybody else that was there. And then the other one was, there's a lot of emphasis on where you would like to see changes. And interestingly, it was kind of an interesting concept. where you come back to being out of town for 10 years and you're writing a postcard back to somebody that, what has changed or what hasn't changed or what's good, what's bad. And people talked about a whole bunch of different things, and it was a kind of an interesting concept. And that was a two-part thing. What was the other thing that was there?
I don't know, because I didn't go to the table.
Okay.
With the sticky note, the three,
Oh yeah, where they wanted to see and the priority 1, 2, 3, and in the various areas, and so it was actually pretty well done. A little bit different perspective than what's been done in the past, and but
Can I just ask a quick question? Did I hear that one of the cups was beautification?
yeah, there was a beautification.
What is the definition?
Sidewalks,
Oh,
Putting putting more
lighting,
flowers.
plantings, and things like that.
blight removal.
Yeah.
So we should be getting results, but getting the results out of planning and zoning seems to be somewhat
Painful.
painful. Thank you. There's not a lot of I thought that this stuff would be posted up in a different manner than it is, but maybe Joe can bring that up. So it'd be nice for people to be able to see what's going on.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
So I unfortunately arrived late just as you're folding the tents, but was there any discussion about commercialization and industrialization? Like we got a proposal for IG2 zone. Was there any discussion about that?
Yes, and that was where they had we used the red stickers and the green stickers where people wanted to see the development going on,
Didn't.
and that was concentrated in Moodus, commercial, not industrial, in East Adam Village, and then around the Four Corners area, which is the industrial park.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't any indication that they wanted it spreading out to the east, but that wasn't one of the, again, there was a concentration there. But again, the issue that we have in this town, what people are always talking about, is that the areas that were set aside for commercial and industrial development, many of them have already been developed. So finding it difficult.
The IG2 zone that's in Joe's picture, photo, I'm very concerned about because that's all wetland, heavily wet.
Actually, this isn't, I apologize, this isn't showing, the IG 3 they're proposing is over here. This has already been,
Yes, that does not
already
allow
been-
much more expansion.
Yeah, I mean, that's wet, it's out here.
I believe it's going over,
And the hills there, the
Here.
hills, yeah.
this is
Okay.
where it's going.
But there's wetlands in there too.
Yeah, it's half.
And it's also a very poor access point for tractor trailer trucks.
So that will have to be looked at. I mean, that's one of the issues going in and out of there, is they want to do that. Down where I don't know if you can see the screener from Daniels. Can you see the screen?
No, we can hear it.
Okay, so he hasn't been doing much screening there because there's piles of supplies everywhere, whether they're leaves or block or pavement or whatever. They want a 10,000 square foot building there, and then another one, but they have to assess the wetland setback.
Yeah.
There's a number of issues that have to be addressed here, so, and then they want to wrap around, like I said, behind the power lines, and that, you would see those buildings from Town Street looking to the east, and at least some of them, because there's fields outside the 300 foot. For some reason, Mr. Hunt thought that the right-of-way was 100 feet, and I'm going, no, it's at least 300 feet. And then I think they wanted it, but then he was confusing, when they did the solar panels, they wanted them at least 50 feet from the right-of-way. So that would make a right-of-way of 400 feet, and which is gonna significantly, I mean, that's basically every 100 foot is another acre that is not available, so.
Right.
A little over 100 acres, I mean, a little over 100 feet, so. I think they may want to reassess, because also getting a road to where it's gotta go would be quite expensive.
The sight lines might not be up to par
And
either.
there's always the question of sightlines, so. Okay, moving on, anything else, Joe? Anything else, Marilyn, on the?
Oh, so you'd like me to ask the Planning and Zoning Commission for the results of the workshop?
Yeah, I mean, if they're,
Yeah.
unless there was a public workshop, so the results should be made public somewhere,
Alright.
I
somehow.
thought the consultants were pretty good, though.
Yeah, the consultants did a very nice job on the whole thing. They
were
really
pretty
did.
good.
Right, but we need the final tally on
Yeah.
everything.
We do.
I gotcha.
Excellent. Okay, who is gonna talk to the Eagle Scout?
I did.
And
He's gonna have a couple Eagle,
applicants?
yes, coming up. One of them will be his son, I believe. And, it won't be coming up for a while, but, if we have any projects that we're thinking of, we can, put some information together and then he can come talk to us about what they're looking for. And he is, he knows that it's gonna, he wants extensive projects for him, not, not real easy stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what it's supposed to be
That's what
about.
it's supposed to be about, yes.
Do they have criteria?
Yes.
Are they available next weekend?
Raising and it's, leadership, they have to lead the entire project, which means, manning, whether a town, is gonna help us, Public Works is gonna help in some of it or something like that, he has to manage that kind of stuff too. So,
Which means going through you.
going through us,
Yeah,
yeah.
and which was part of the reason we had those issues before.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. And, what's he need next from us?
What kinds of projects we might
Yes.
have?
Yes, yeah, what kind of projects we're looking
Okay.
for, and then he can come talk to us. That's what he'll do, rather than us going to their meeting, he said he would come to ours.
Okay, well, that's, works out well. What time frame is he looking for these projects? In other words, should we be discussing them now, or can we do it in another meeting?
Yes, we do another meeting, because I
Okay.
think he's looking more towards springtime,
Okay,
later winter, springtime, to at least,
start the process, okay. All right,
because I think he has a bunch of them coming up that would probably be due next fall or next spring. Not this spring, but the following spring.
okay,
So we've got
all right,
plenty of
because
time.
there's plenty of time, all right. I don't wanna get into one of these, oh,
No, no.
got a month to do it or whatever,
Yeah.
okay, good. All right, so we will put on your thinking caps and we will discuss that in the next meeting or beyond, so. All right, new business,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
while we're thinking about Eagle Scouts and
Mhm.
Boy Scouts, I believe a fairly decent campsite was constructed on the Hacks property, and it hasn't been used, and it's really too bad.
Yeah.
So, does it need more work to?
I have not checked it in the last 4 months at least, so. It was okay last time I was there. No more vandalism had occurred since the last time I was there.
We never knew the source of the vandalism. Yeah.
No, they were older juveniles with magic markers and
Nothing better to do.
nothing better to do.
Shame.
And tried to burn the outhouse down and they ripped the door off the outhouse. So I reconstructed the outhouse on the standards of the state park, so they better come with lots of tools and things, so. And put doors and everything back on it, but, and I don't know how to address this, but if we're gonna have an outhouse there, we're gonna have to maintain it to a certain degree to make sure it's kept clean, because other people were gonna stumble on it and wanna use it. For example, the last time I was in there, and I didn't have any more TP with me, I don't usually carry it in my back pocket, the mice had shredded that, turned it into nesting material, and,
Yeah, you probably need to have that inside something that they can't.
yeah, you need to put it in a coffee can or something like that, so that it stays, the old-fashioned way. Sears stopped doing catalogs, so we're in trouble there, so.
Well, you got plenty of oak leaves.
Yeah, and they do break down. They do break down nicely. But in any event, so we're gonna have to kind of keep an eye on that. So I'd love to get a steward there. That'd be one of his jobs, at least monthly, check it and sweep out the stuff. I mean, when I went to reconstruct it, I had a phoebe nest in it because there was no door on it, so I had to wait for the phoebes to fledge. before I could put a door on it that
You
closed.
became a birdhouse?
Yes, it was a very large birdhouse. And then when Phoebe had fledged, I got stung because the bees were in it. So I said, well, I'll be back after frost. So I mean, it took 6 months for me to get a door on it. But anyway, this was last year. But it was just it was unfortunate. We had an Eagle Scout project to put a youth group camp area in, and they did a very good job. And it was used twice early on, but I don't think it's been used now in quite some time, which is unfortunate. The thing we could do is we could start advertising it to their, and this would be another good thing for Chris, to let other scout groups know it's there, because they're always looking for another youth group area to utilize.
Yep.
So right now they use the hop yard because there's no fee, but we could do the same thing there. And I think did we have an application form?
Yeah.
We have an application form online.
Linda has it.
So, yeah.
I think
I think it'd be better, the more you get used, the less chance there is of other issues coming up, so.
another appreciation, public appreciation
Yep.
for the property.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's really kind of, I thought it was pretty well done, and the other thing is that you could be camping there and people wouldn't necessarily know it unless you're hiking on the
Correct.
red trail, you see it from the backside, so.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's a real shame that it's not being used.
Now, could people, say townspeople that wanna take their kids camping some night, could they
No, it's for your organized youth groups,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
only organize?
Now, I'm not gonna guarantee, and there's evidence that people have used it for picnicking, definitely, and possibly camping, so. Okay.
So what do we need to do? You fixed the birdhouse, so, so what do we need to have, the local troop take charge of it?
I think that'd be the ideal thing, but I don't know how that would work, if they'd be effective or not. I mean, historically, it is the same troop that put it in, you know,
I think they would wanna maintain it.
so, yes. Can you talk to Chris again about it? Okay, thank you.
So Paul, you're gonna talk to him not only about the fact that there is a youth group, a youth camp center that he could tell other troops about, but also to see if they're interested in stewarding? Okay.
Yeah, because if out-of-town troops come and use it, because we give our local folks a chance to use it, they use it, then other out-of-town becomes quite popular, we bring more interest to the town.
Absolutely.
And it's also good for the property.
It's good for the property and also expands people coming into town and using our trails and seeing what's here.
That's right.
Because there is the extension of will eventually be the extension of the 8 mile, or excuse me, the Goodwin Trail. But though that doesn't go directly to it, it'll be nearby so that they could walk to it as part of their overnight camping areas. Because that's one of the things they talked about early on, is that they would hike into it, stay overnight, and then hike to the next place or out, so.
Yeah, East Time's ideal for them.
Yeah. Okay,
Where's Hatch?
that's off Mill Road.
Off Clark Hill.
It's behind Harris, if you were going in Harris, heading
South of
towards
Harris.
Mill Road, you'd run into.
Catch the Dean.
Catch the Dean.
Contiguous.
It borders Parker Road and Mill Road.
You can walk there faster than you did driving here tonight.
From your house.
From your house.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Beg your indulgence, could we take up the appointment, some of us may feel the need to,
Party,
no, go take care of some,
chores.
yes, right.
Gonna watch the election results?
So you would like to adjust the agenda?
Well, I was just, I think we had added E, the new conservation appointment.
yes,
Is
we-
something that was a.
So what we have to do is, anytime a new member comes on, or a new commissioner, or someone desires to come on the commission for whatever reason, so,
Are you speechless?
well, I am, because we're being recorded. So,
That's a first.
He's speechless.
So, we have an application from Mr. Gary Wilson, and I'd like Mr. Wilson, at this point, to tell us a little bit about himself, and see if the board has any other Questions for him? So, Mr. Wilson, at 255 Clark Hill Road.
Moved to town April of 2017, so
Oh,
been
you're
a
too
little over
new.
a year now. But I've lived in Connecticut for about 25 years. Came up, worked for Pfizer for 23 years and retired in 2016. I don't know how far back you want me to go, but
Wherever you're comfortable.
out of high school, I went into the Army. After the Army, I went to Penn State and Temple University on the GI Bill. Worked for FDA as an investigator for 10 years. Then I went to work for ICI Pharmaceutical, and then I went to work for Pfizer. I was an auditor. I would audit for good clinical practice. I was always a nature boy. I always liked being out in the woods, even though I grew up in Philadelphia. And after moving here, I was kind of reaching out, looking for things to do and activities to get involved in. That's why I went for the Master Gardener program last year, and why I started to come to the Conservation Commission meetings to hear what's going on. And I've gone to a few of your exercises, and I've seen the types of things that you do, and I think it's a nice thing when you reach retirement age, you start saying, well, what am I going to leave as a legacy? And for me, it would just be a nice thing to be able to work on doing different activities to have something that will remain after I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on a downward slope at this point in time. But,
Don't say that, because if you are, I am.
Yeah, we're all ahead of you.
I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson? All right, Gary, why don't you step outside so we can talk about you?
Okay.
It won't be long. We'll call you back in. Don't go far.
When I come back in, will Charlotte put those needles in?
If they're not in the fabric, then be careful. Pete, would you mind stepping out too for a minute? Thank you.
This is where we stop recording.
Stop recording.
Do you want me to stop recording?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We'll pause it.
Yes, pause it. Oh, yes.
There's four
Send it
left.
this way.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to slip away.
Are
Okay.
you gonna let us know what the results are?
Well, we won't be too long.
Okay.
Okay.
Screen
Thank
down.
All right, so Mr. Wilson, I have to tell you that
It was close.
it was close. But you prevailed. You convinced enough of us, so you're.
Mainly because you have a puppy.
So
Bring him up to the next meeting.
so you have to still be approved by the Board of Selectmen,
Whoa.
but that will happen tomorrow.
Okay.
You're on the agenda for the Board of Selectmen meeting tomorrow.
Thank you for coming. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
You don't have to leave, but when she said thank
No,
you for
but
coming.
Thank you for coming to our meetings and stuff.
Thank you, Gary. Most appreciated. Let me do bills. We have a number of bills again. We have a shag bark bill for $130.46. There's a number of items that went out and then some that came back. Some go back to the event down at Petrel.
How much is it again? 140?
130.46.
130.46.
Some new padlocks, chain, more padlocks. We got some. I got some 1x4 white pine to kind of do a proto, or where we would put the location, chalk line, other odds and ends, but just small items that added up to that. So, motion to accept that.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Thank you.
Then I purchased through Amazon, which was actually the half price of what we would get it locally, and less than. I remember the other thing, I couldn't find that particular item I told you on Fastenal, but and these were these are even cheaper than at Home Depot, where I've gotten them in the past, but they didn't have them available either at Home Depot. But I was able to get them in one night, free. just crazy. But anyway, they're 4.5 inch, the headlock, heavy-duty flathead fasteners, 250 count, and I got them for $107.54 plus tax, which was $683. So $114.37. Discussion? These will be used on the new
Did you have to pay
bridge.
shipping?
No.
No, it's free.
Because you're an Amazon
Overnight.
Prime member?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Amazon.
and 1 day, the 2 day normally is free, but they had a 1 day, and I go, well, and they arrived. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. So all in favor? I mean, motion. I didn't hear a motion.
Second.
Further discussion?
Wow.
Do you want that in the minutes, Mr. Gelston?
Caps. With an exclamation point. All in favor? Aye. Similar thing, this was 2 7/8 inches. I got 300 of them for $123. Again, shipped overnight. Shipping was $41 or $42 actually. And so totals $123 even. Motion?
So moved. Second.
Oh, Mr. Delenthal is just kicking butt.
I know.
You can't.
Not Joe.
Hello.
He can make them. He can't either technically.
I second.
Oh, there you go.
Gelston seconds.
Right.
Justin seconds.
Did you make the
Okay.
motion?
No,
Who made the motion?
Tom did.
Joe, he can't make the.
motion.
All right, Mr. Sienna did it?
Yes.
Are we changing the other one?
Mr. Gelston,
Tom did.
second. Todd seconded.
Todd seconded, but.
I made the motion, Todd seconded.
Yeah.
If Mr. Delenthal
He
cannot,
made the motion.
yeah,
Oh,
yes, you have to
you're saying on
change it.
the previous one.
Yeah,
previous
yeah,
motion.
Now
Yes.
I'll
second.
second again.
Okay, well.
It was the
No,
same. It was
you
the
have to
same.
first.
This is on tape.
Doing a heck of a job, Sharon.
I'm trying.
We
You
don't
guys,
pay you enough.
you're right, and he's rowdy.
Him?
There's no hitting in this relationship, which is the only reason I'm not. I've changed it.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We
Do we-
also.
We have more.
Yeah, one more. We also have a bill, an invoice from Essex Design and Display. It's for a large sign that we have which will be going at Harris. The cost is aluminum is really hurting us, probably because of tariffs, but whatever the case.
Right.
But I think it's doubled actually the price of aluminum.
It
But
doubled.
balance due is $432.50, and this is for a large sign that goes on the back of the main signboard at the parking area at Harris, which talks about who contributed to the property. It's part of the signage that's required for the state also. So $432.50. So I'll entertain a motion to pay that, since we already have it.
Gelston moves.
Thank
So
you.
moved.
Second.
Ooh,
Reversed. Further discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. I think we can postpone discussion on the Public Works budget discussion. That had to do with, because I haven't had a chance to do anything more with it, but I will touch on it tomorrow at the selectmen's meeting, but there's nothing in writing to them yet, to the selectmen, which would be mean too, but anyway, and just to refresh, the discussion there had to do with the fact that if we're gonna have to start removing trees and maybe do contracting work, then our budget will have to increase again, and that people should expect it. Board of Finance people. And I'm specifically mentioning it to
the Board of Finance.
our Board of Finance liaison here, so.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Am I allowed to ask about those
You
trees?
can ask anything you want.
How about how are
No.
those 4 trees doing?
Nothing has been done on it. I haven't had a chance to look at them. Well, I looked at them with the woman to begin with, but I have to look at them and see if we can fell them. If we can't, then I'll be hiring somebody. I don't know if we can get to them with a truck. So I know a bucket truck, maybe, but I have to see if the opening is big enough to get into the riding rink and things like that, so. So I have to go down there again. Okay,
Can a spider get in there?
might be, but I think we don't have to go that route.
That's even better.
Item C, 2019 meeting schedule. I think everybody has a copy of this.
Everybody has a copy?
Thank you.
As usual, the ones to look at that we should need to discuss, July 2nd. So the week of July 4th. July 4th will be a Thursday, July 2nd is a Tuesday. Do we want to move that due to vacations? September 3rd is obviously the week after, is the day after Labor Day. And November 5th is Election Day.
Perfect. Today was election day.
It was hard to find.
But
parking.
next year, it's gonna be local elections and everything, so I think we should need to move next year's, no question.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
when we pulled in, we had a choice of 3 right there.
I had a choice of none,
'Cause you
No.
came-
except I got beeped at several times.
But that was me.
No, that was one, you
Oh.
were one.
So would we move it a whole week then, or just pick another
Yeah,
day?
usually we move it.
Yeah, we just go to the,
Yep.
I mean, we could go to the Thursday, if you wish, which would be the 7th, or we can go to the 12th.
12th, right,
And this, we're talking about November 2019.
yep. And Thanksgiving's the last week in November that year, so it's not like the following week is Thanksgiving. So what would you guys like to do, Thursday the 7th or Tuesday the 12th?
Thursday the 7th.
We got one, Thursday the 7th, who wants,
I have
Tuesday the
another
12th.
meeting.
Who wants Tuesday the
12th.
12th?
You're meeting at 12, then I'm fine with Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
All right, so we'll have to find a
Thursday the
place, but
7th?
make that the
Nope,
7th.
She'll find us.
Yep, yeah. The other one was,
So do we want to move the July 4th, week of the July 4th holiday and the week of
I don't see a
Labor
problem
Day?
with that on a Tuesday if the 4th is Thursday.
Okay, and what
That's no problem either.
about Labor Day? Because Monday's Labor Day and Tuesday would be our meeting on the
We've
3rd.
usually been having that.
Yeah.
I just asked the
I
question.
know, I'm just verbalizing that, we usually do that one. That's okay. Any thoughts? This is all open for discussion.
That's fine with me.
I'm okay with it.
I will likely not be in town on the 2nd.
Of
That's our yearly-
July,
July,
Yeah,
yeah,
July, yeah, that's our yearly family gathering somewhere else
in the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to note though, did everybody notice that this January 1st is a Tuesday, so that means our Conservation Commission meeting will
Yes.
be June, I did it again.
January 8th,
January
just
8th.
like this month, just like today.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Hope it won't be snowing that day.
I hope not. All right, so we changed,
So-
the only one we changed is November, so I will submit this. Do we need a motion or anything?
And, yeah, we'll approve it, but, and January 2020, the 7th, that would be the first Tuesday.
That would be the first yes, because Wednesday will be, yep,
Okay, everyone's okay with that?
2020, yeah,
Poking out there.
Okay.
2020.
What?
Motion to approve that proposed schedule.
So moved.
Discussion, second?
Second.
Charlotte didn't, thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Gary, you're still, and Peter, you're both still members of the public? Well, Peter's always gonna, well, not always gonna be, hopefully. What's that? Wayne. I'm sorry, do I keep?
I don't know why you keep calling me Peter.
Oh, it's all right.
Oh, it's not Peter?
It's Dwayne.
Oh, good
Jeez.
lord. It's in the minutes as Peter. Jeez
I
Louise.
answered anything.
Just don't call him late for supper.
Is it,
D-U-A-N-E.
thank you.
Peter, meet Maureen.
Oh my gosh.
While we're all laughing, can I tell a joke?
Yeah.
Well, we'll wait till the thing ends. We'll wait till you. So, sorry, Dwayne. So, Gary, anything you want to talk about? Any mention? This is for the public comment at this point.
No,
Okay.
I didn't get a copy of the schedule for next year, so
here,
we'll be in Key West in the first week of March, so I won't be
Here.
at that meeting.
Okay.
That's tough
you
too.
can have this one, because Todd and I, we can share.
Oh.
Dwayne, would you like, is there anything from the? Mr. Br-
No, it's enlightening.
Okay. So anyway, as I pointed out before, Dwayne's a mason, pretty well-known mason in the area, and does actually a lot of very nice ornamental stonework and brickwork.
Do you have a card?
Not with me, but I do have a card.
Maybe you can just give me your email address. Okay.
SBCglobal.net.
Your name without a period in it?
Nope, Mike, Dwayne Croft, SBCglobal.net.
If you send it to Peter, he won't get
Can you
it.
spell it?
SBC.
A-N-E, not, because I've seen it spelled
SBC Global?
D-W-A-Y-N-E. Yeah.
D-U-A-N-E-P-R.
My wedding cake in 90,
Oh.
a long time ago.
So it's sbcglobal.net? Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
my apologies.
Not a problem.
So, okay, is there anything else for the good of the order? Our next meeting is December 4th, here, and stay in touch with your emails for whether we'll be doing something this weekend. It's possible we could do something on Sunday also. Does that work better for people? All right, thank you all, we're adjourned.
Can I tell a joke?
Now you can tell a joke.
So it's